my ear? Show the entire world my itchy ear?
Yeah, I haven't hit the actual button yet.
Oh, good. I hate itchy
Now
ears.
I have. It's live.
Okay, all right,
It's
everybody
not
stop doing
public
what they were
yet. Let
doing.
me change it to public.
Bulbous.
Bulbous.
Bulbous Buffont.
The funny thing is the trouble is you actually have a problem changing it to private. You're good at the public part, but not the private part.
Well, that's always been the case.
Yeah,
He's
the
not
private
good.
parts they're tougher.
He's not. He's not good with his privates.
Hey, I managed to produce a child. It's okay. My other shortcomings are
Broadcast
Pale
live.
in comparison.
How are you going, Josh? I came across your page while gathering information on board games, which I found super interesting.
How are
When
you
is this going to
going?
get inappropriate?
Happy Friday from Microsoft. Get your browser back in better start menu. Oh, God, I hate those.
Okay.
Hey, quick
so
question.
grab-
Question for you, Josh.
Yeah.
And they always email 3 times. First, the second, and the third is like, I really don't want to bother you. But if you could get back to me about this.
Well, what everybody
did you
doesn't know
now?
is Josh does not put out for free people. I don't know if everybody knows that, but
Wait, what?
nothing. All right, live mode. Link fixing.
Bulbous.
Josh, I think I have a grounding issue with this mic.
My mic or your mic?
Mine,
No,
Ooh.
tell it is grounded.
because sometimes when if it's making a crackling sound, if I just touch the mic, it goes away.
Crackle, crackle.
Well, don't
Jared,
stop touching it.
Check me on the live page.
I'm still refreshing.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. That one worked.
All right, cool.
Okay, I think we're ready. These levels sound fine. I'm wearing closed ear headphones,
I
Turned
noticed
up
that's
very
different for you
loud.
tonight.
so I can hear the audio levels better.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We're going to talk about the log4j mess. You spelled it wrong.
Oh, the JLog 4,
Yes.
the JJ log.
Yes, from Good Times.
Need to turn down my.
All right, so I need some
Monitor.
YouTube chat here. Oh, Augustus says Sebastian looks really good tonight. It's the lighting.
Yeah,
I think he dims himself to look better.
that's
Oh, yeah.
actually true.
That's not fair.
Look, you're in control of your own lighting, Brett. What do you mean
I know.
fair?
I'm
That's
doing
not
it now.
fair. The
How's
key,
that?
the key is the backlighting.
It is. You know, you've got that going
Next
on.
week on
I
PC
gotta-
Per, 2 black squares, Jeremy and Josh.
Hey, hold on. I have another version of the feed. I don't know why this one's still even in here. Feed number 5.
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah.
And then
We got a lot of mileage out of this one.
there's feed
Yeah.
number 7. I don't know why. I should just delete feed number 5. But when I mess with things, everything goes wrong. I guess that's not true.
Yep. I'm not going to repeat it.
But you know
Everyone
what?
Laugh quietly.
Augustus
Quietly.
Caesar in the live chat, who, by the way, is very old at this point.
Yeah,
Indeed.
that's fair.
Like, how many years has it been since the fall of the Roman Empire?
It's been a few.
His
He
older
was
brother
killed
was
in
Julius.
42 BC?
Something like that, I'm thinking.
Oh wait, no, this
Well,
is
Julius.
Is this Julius.
Julius
Augustus
Caesar was... What? Julius Caesar was 42 B, I think.
Yeah.
And then
So this would be
Octavian,
40.
a.k.a. Caesar Augustus.
Mm.
I can't remember, 1580?
By the
It's
way,
been too long since...
oh sorry.
Yeah.
Julius is your uncle. Okay, sorry, Augustus. By the way, we will be checking in periodically on
And,
the file transfer from my shared DOSBox X on the NAS, which is going so freaking slow. We won't actually be checking on that, but by the end of the show, I hope that transfer is actually done. Because
I'm going to bet 50%.
I spent an hour earlier configuring DOSBox X with Windows 98. Got that fully installed
Why
and
did you do
working.
that?
Because I wanted to know if
Why
I
did you do
could.
that?
And that's my pick of the week.
Okay.
But we'll get to that later. All right, let me hit the record button.
Have you tried pausing it so that it can buffer up again?
What, the transfer? No. I think it's just the size of the files. It doesn't like these, non... What is the term? Random.
Non-sequential, tiny little
Yeah.
freaking...
Yeah. The apparently the random 4K performance of the NAS is not great. Who would have thought? Slow hard drives.
I definitely think we should check in on it periodically, though.
Sure.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you were using some of the drives we were talking about later on, this would be
Oh.
going much faster.
Oh, heck yeah.
The 20 terabyte drives?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shh,
those are
you're
nice.
spoiling it.
Hey, look, this is pre-show.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
pretend that it's all a surprise. No, actually, we'll pretend like we actually did read ahead and assign stories, who's going to read them,
Look,
that kind of thing.
Josh is fully prepped on this show. I know he is. I know he's read in.
That,
and all
what?
that
so-
sounds a little insulting, Brett, when you say it
Yeah.
like that.
Josh
Big
is
old
very good
meanie.
off the cuff, actually. He's very good.
Bart
Jumps right
Dogger's
in and-
tech says it's their 36th birthday. Congratulations. I had my 36th birthday 4 years ago.
Oh, what do we have here?
I remember that. I remember those days.
What is this? Inland Performance? Oh, it's a 2 terabyte drive. 5K,
Yep.
40.
There's a song about it.
You'd think I was doing a podcast or something because my internet upload is not very good right now.
Ooh.
Okay. I have preloaded the first two things, so let's get started.
Sebastian has a pick tonight, everybody, so hang in to the end.
Yeah.
No way. Maybe I should
crazy.
just skip a pick.
Just crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
No, don't do that.
Well, I mean, Sebastian's got one, so technically,
Yeah.
get a buy.
What are you guys drinking tonight?
Water.
Ah, that's unusual.
I'm drinking
Lord
Aldi-
Barley Corn Bourbon Arrow Aged Lager
Oh.
that we
Very
only
nice. I
get
decided to
this time of year.
Once a year.
ride Satan's pony this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
Leaves you sore on the end, but it's worth it.
whatever.
Thanks,
Speaking,
dog.
speaking of Satan's pony,
She drives me nuts.
You can't help yourself.
Josh, that's a band.
She drives me crazy.
Oh, oh,
Like no,
like no one else.
I don't even know what kind of show this is anymore. Chat says
Whoever
the
says we
dog's
do
mic
anything
is
to
a
in
little,
excess.
yeah. The chat says the dog's mic is a little hot tonight, Josh.
Yeah, the dog has a piercing. The other one is even worse, if you can imagine it. That they're one's a full blue healer, and she has a scream for a bark. It's awful. And the other one is a part blue healer, and so she's a couple of notches down. But
Hey, it was handy to hear them from miles and miles away.
oh boy,
Problem is that they're meters away.
yes, they're very close.
Oh, I see Tim Apple is watching.
Oh, I like Tim Apple. I've
I
given
know
him
you do.
some money.
You like him a little too much.
We're close, but we're not friends.
You don't have to be friends to do the stuff that you guys do.
I give him money.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
an exchange of
Yeah,
goods and
I don't
services.
think Tim would do anything
It
for
is.
free.
No. Somehow I feel like I've walked away a winner, even though I'm poorer. And that's the magic.
The best con artists do that.
Yes.
Or, I mean, the best showmans do that.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Hey, you
I think
guys
I'm
want to do a
finally
show?
ready. I had
All right, cool.
Nah.
I was auto logged out of Google yet again, so I had to log back in. Okay. In some period of time. Hey everybody, welcome back to the PC Perspective podcast. We are at episode 656. It's December 15, 2021 as we record this. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm still going to be Brett Van Springberg tonight.
And you can subscribe to our email list, be updated on things like going live for this podcast recording session. Go to pcper.com/subscribe and be alerted like me. I think I got an alert. Brett, did we send that out?
I think you did. I
Okay.
did send it. And
Okay,
I think
good.
this is the only reason you show up some nights. I really do.
Look, it's only once a week. I forget. It's like my son is in bed. What's left? Oh yeah, the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Patreon. You can help support the site and podcast distribution by heading over to patreon.com/pcper and join it. Get the extras. And
Be exposed.
Sir Bogative.
Yeah, he gave us a nice
Bogativ?
bump this week. Yep, we appreciate that. Sir Bogatov. And be exposed to the patented Sebastian wit and wisdom on Patreon,
yeah.
which is reserved specifically for Patreon members.
Right. Yeah, I don't provide any wit or wisdom anywhere else. I save it all
That is correct.
random Patreon posts.
Yes.
Josh, it's that time
Me.
again.
It is?
Burger of the week.
Okay. Well, this one came out so good, I had to take a picture and post it. We've seen the popper before, but they did an outstanding job in packaging up and presentation. The fries were outstanding, perfectly crispy, tender on the inside, maybe a little over-seasoned, but not too bad. The jalapenos are breaded and fried, and you got the cream cheese in there, and you got the raspberry chipotle. It was fantastic. I'm still not hungry after eating that 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago. Yeah, it was good. Again, this is the place it's going to be on diners, drive-ins, and dives. They make good food. It looks a little crazy there. No, there was a special today. It was called the high school burger, and I just couldn't do it. It was
You're too old, Josh.
Quarter.
Don't do it.
3 quarter-pound patties smashed with fries and American cheese smashed in between them all. And that was the burger. That's 3/4 of a pound of ground beef, and I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. You'll live through New Year's, at least.
You're going to be fine, Josh.
Yeah.
It looks delicious, though, I have to say.
It was good. Popper
Yeah.
burgers, like their specialty.
It looks awesome.
You know what else looks awesome? Is the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, as we are live streaming this podcast session, has not been released yet, but is being released tomorrow, December 16, Thursday. It's coming to PC. As I try to contend with the fact that I don't know how to go into full screen mode here. Okay, there we go. It's coming to PC via the Epic Game Store, because they love to spend money on exclusives. So no, you can't put it on Steam.
Well, they don't like to make money, so
No, they've spent
Makes
over
sense.
$1 billion on exclusives so far, just from one article I read.
Well, that sounds affordable.
But it's just not enough. But you know what? Okay, let's talk about the system requirements, because obviously this has been a PlayStation exclusive up to this point. So if you're not a PlayStation fanboy, like certain podcast hosts that I could mention, then you probably haven't played this yet. And they tweeted out the system requirements. I have a larger picture of it here. The minimum requirements: you have to have Windows 10 64-bit version 2004 or later. You have to have a Core i5 3000 series or an AMD FX 8350 or better. and you have to have 8 gigabytes of memory, 100 gigabytes of storage, DX12, of course. I'm requiring Windows 10, so obviously you need DirectX 12. And then the minimum graphics are also DX12 graphics cards, so GTX 780, RX 480. I don't know why it says 3 gigabytes of VRAM, because there was never a RX 480 with only 3 gigabytes of VRAM, but that's what the 780 has. And then the recommended, you have to move that up to a Core i7 3770 or higher and a Ryzen 3 3100 or higher. 12 gigs of memory, same storage, and either a GTX 1080 or RX 5700 or better. And that's assuming a resolution of 2560.
That's clearly a lie. You can't buy the Ryzen 3 3100.
Why not?
I haven't seen it around unless it finally came back in stock.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, look, if you're somebody who had it, it's not like you can buy an i7 3770 brand new or an i5 3330 brand new anymore.
Fair enough.
You might be able to find the 8350.
Yeah, in a brand new gaming PC from someone. Like, who knows what we'll even find anymore. There's probably a brand new PC out there somewhere with an RX 480 in it, too. And that's not really a joke.
I just read that
And that's an
Costco is
upgrade.
now having to zip tie their display PCs closed because people are ripping off the components.
Does not surprise me. Especially since
Sounding a little desperate out there.
there's never anybody around on those aisles either. So you could just be there, like surrounded by big TV boxes and stuff, and just go to town.
Quietly just
Not that I've
pop
ever
Why
done it.
steal it? Just dump the crypto miner on it and let them pay for the electricity.
Oh, much better idea.
Yeah.
This is why you should carry around your wallet address everywhere you go. Okay, so I don't like the Epic Game Store. I would much rather own it on Steam. I don't think I'm going to be able to resist buying it tomorrow because I want to play it on PC and see what the performance is like. Because I had it on PS4, upgraded to a PS4 Pro. Then I ended up getting a PS5 and played the PS5 version, which does look better, but it only looks noticeably better if you sacrifice frame rate, because they have a high detail mode that caps the frame. It looks really, I don't know what it is. I'm assuming 30 frames per second, but it looks really choppy at times. So then the high frame rate mode reduces the detail settings back to PS4 level. So if I can have both, put it on a fast graphics card, play it on PC. Speaking of graphics cards and PCs, AMD released a new graphics driver. And this is important because the hot new game is Halo Infinite. And this is another one of those instances where AMD driver version matters a lot. You never want to get caught as a reviewer with a one revision old graphics driver when you're checking performance out, because look at these numbers. Up to a 16 to 19% increase in performance depending on which RX 6000 series graphics card you're using. Now they're saying like 4K Ultra. I'm pretty sure this is across the board. It also gives you support for Fortnite, Icarus, Blender 3.0 on Radeon, something that NVIDIA was advertising. They have Blender 3.0 support. So obviously if you use a Radeon graphics card, you need 21.12.1. Hopefully there are no bugs. Of course, there are some fixed issues, some known issues. It's a graphics driver, but big.
I like how it doesn't show up on their driver, because usually you update via the driver.
Yeah.
It's still convinced that 21.10.2 is the newest.
Huh.
Now, I don't have Halo Infinite installed, which might be part of it.
Yeah, there was
The trigger.
Yeah, there was an early
Interesting.
driver, of course, because the game codes were seeded early, and you don't want people. I mean, there was one tweet in particular that I'm trying to find here. I think it was from 3dcenter.org. They were complaining about this new graphics driver not having support for older operating systems, which at some point, I mean, now that Windows 11 is out, I have to accept that Windows 10 is as far back as you can really reasonably expect support. But
So you're not trying to get it on the N98 SE build?
no. But here we go. Here's the tweet. 3dcenter.org. Halo Infinite on Radeon RX 6800. Computer-based benchmarks. Driver 21.11.3. They were getting 20.1 FPS. The Halo beta driver, 55.6 FPS with the same GPU. And then it goes up to 61.6 with the new 21.12.1. And then their complaint, users of older AMD cards and Windows 7/8 do not have access to a driver suitable for Halo Infinite. Now, I looked through that driver, by the way, and it has support for cards going all the way back to the RX 480. So if you do have an older card than that, say you're still on a 290X, sorry, there is no support for that. But as long as you're on either Windows 10 or 11 and have any graphics card made since the 480, which is what, 5-year-old card at this point, you do have support.
Which isn't that old, but
It's not.
I'm beginning to understand.
Yeah. I really don't have a problem.
God, that was their first 14 nanometer FinFET. Graphics, that is.
How things
And
have changed.
GCN lived for a very long time.
Yes, and it still lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vega forever, man.
Vega forever.
Sorry, I was
built
just,
my last Hackintosh with a Vega in it.
Of course you did, because that's
Yeah,
the support.
well,
No,
all
I'm going
all
to.
the integrated is still Vega.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. All the,
You know,
the
Brett,
iGPUs.
You could get one of the AMD APUs and build a Hackintosh around that. Just
I
integrate
could.
Vega graphics, except that they don't like AMD processors.
Nah, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. They'd
do you
rather
think,
run
Brett?
Qualcomm.
I think Brett's so pro Intel. It's because that's what you need to run your Hackintosh, because that's what the Mac Pro runs.
Well, part of it is just because it tends to work more quickly out of the box.
Yeah,
Did I say that out loud?
it's easier.
Yeah.
No,
Easier.
it works more quickly out of the box for running non-recommended software, perhaps.
Nah, you're just needling.
By the way, I'm going to check in. Let's check in live on this laptop in front of me to see how the file transfer for my NAS is going. Let's see.
Oh, look at
355K.
that.
Oh, 0.
Wow, there's been some movement here, folks.
What's amazing
Ooh,
about
if you,
this is this meager file transfer is enough to slow down the internet on my laptop to the point where I can barely use it. There's something wrong with the wireless card in this thing.
you know what? We should have been taking bets. Actually, we should have been having people put money down on how long it was going to take.
No, I still figured it'd stall out on a file and you wouldn't notice till the end of the show.
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
currently hovering
that's-
between 0
that's
and
mean.
355 kilobytes per second. Not kilobits, it's kilobytes. So we're making some progress here. I need to just wrap this up or just give up. I should have put it on a thumb drive. I don't know why I thought, oh, let's use the NAS. Obviously,
Man, SneakerNet.
Faster.
SneakerNet. There's something to be said about it.
something to be said about emergency response when you need it. And
There
you know,
is.
say you've fallen down your stairs and your phone is nearby, and it's an Android phone and it's running version 10 of Android or higher, and you happen to have Microsoft Teams installed. What could
Well,
possibly
you're
go
gonna
wrong?
Everything.
You're gonna die. So
Well,
yeah,
help's
this
not
You
is
know
coming.
how much fun the last several days have been in between everything.
Yes.
Amazon,
Yes,
AWS went out. OpenVPN, Umbrella people decided to hammer something the last couple of days, and we were having extreme slowdowns and BSODs. It's been awful lately. And Teams, Microsoft Teams, people trying to get at and enable two-factor authentication. It's awful.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so
I
tired.
feel
But anyway, go ahead with the story. I'm just saying that the last week, and it's the week before Christmas week, it's all coming down. It's like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
well. You can always start again.
It's true.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. It's a lousy week to stop sniffing markers too. So yeah, somehow Microsoft Teams managed to get its little fingers into the ability of just about any modern Android phone to be able to make a call to 911. Now, this is not specifically for people that have paid Microsoft Teams and then an add-in so that it works on PSTN. This is just frickin' Microsoft Teams. And they even pegged it down to the point where it's like, actually, if you have Microsoft Teams installed but you're not currently logged in, because 2AFA just decided to log you out so that it could put the code back in again. For some reason, the buddy phone is unable to reach 911. Absolutely nothing. The original response, which of course was on a Reddit thread, the official Google one though, is that this is incredibly important and we're going to work on it and get to it probably January 4th or so. This was received as poorly as you would expect. They have since fixed this bug. There is an update to Teams which allows you to make phone calls to 911 if you have Microsoft Teams installed. But it doesn't answer the actual question of what in the hell did you do? How is this VoIP communication thing getting a hold of your ability to call 911? It's got no ability to do it. That's programmed into Skype and Teams and the various other ones. So Skype, you can't dial 911 because they aren't going to know where you are. You dial that using the cell network. So somehow someone has managed to interface Teams with that and managed to royally screw the pooch on this. I don't know if we're ever going to hear the actual explanation of what it was doing, how it got its fingers into that level of the operating system of Android, but it's fixed. It's just, this is one of those things that should never have happened and really should never have been possible to have been happened.
It just seems like making outgoing phone calls would be something that a regular other, companion application on the phone would never be able to interfere
You can
with.
still make phone calls, but the emergency
Just not to
911
Yeah.
just would not connect.
They were routing some of their telemetry through 911, probably. So,
Well, we've had 911
good for
outages
you.
down there that that was a Microsoft, or it was Azure that went down and took out a bunch of 911
who would have ever guessed that a
3-4
major,
months ago.
a severe problem with just the basic function of using a phone would have anything to do with Microsoft, the king
Wonder.
of phones?
What kind of hooks
They are
does
gifted.
Android have that
Yeah,
it can do that?
there shouldn't be any like that.
Well, I wonder if it's
No.
because obviously 911 on a phone, there's multiple things going on. It's sending your current location. I wonder if something about Teams dominating your whereabouts has
It
anything to do with it.
still shouldn't, and I don't know. Teams doesn't really have any geolocation on it.
That
You could install an app that would probably add it.
What if it's
It
Android?
barely knows if you're active or not. let
Does this
alone where
happen
you
on
are.
Teams for iOS?
No, Android only.
No, it isn't Android only. What? Please explain for those of us who are not security minded. What is Log4j? What's all this noise about Log4j?
Frank.
There's been a bit of this problem going around. Log4j is a is an underlying logging mechanism that is written in Java, and the hack had to do with the way that the Java engine parsed, or the library that wrote and parsed the log files, would work with a directive that told that engine conveniently, hey, go fetch an external library object class from an arbitrary other location, which might not be local. So that means it could fetch a remote class from wherever it was directed, and then run it, instantiate it, and then execute it. Well, that opens up a rather severe security hole, such that many, many, many server-side systems were vulnerable. Banks, governments, internet service providers, Microsoft's.
So you like to
Minecraft,
you like to write a
Amazon.
log of you like to write a log of the exploit attempts against your systems.
Just about any
Well, we'll
log,
just use
really.
that log system to actually infect you. Well, we'll just
Now-
skip it.
Remember, the point is that anything that was open to the front end, say it was a form field, a text entry, a URL, that system was logging, if you put the correct key strokes combinations, the key characters in it, that would be logged and cause this hack, this remote code execution to potentially be executed. That's all it took. It was trivial. And it's been there for a long time, unfortunately.
And
So yeah, you could open up a remote shell.
ubiquitous.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Yeah.
Like it is so ridiculously ubiquitous. It's going to be in a tiny little moving part of this C program that someone wrote, years and years ago, and which isn't maintained by anyone anymore, but is still mission critical for the system. And actually, without writing that log, has a condition in it to say, if you're not writing the log, it's just going to have to stop dead until someone comes and fixes it. Except dude that fixed it is that one dude in Nebraska who just passed away and doesn't care anymore.
Right.
It's
a good diagram
everywhere.
of how that remote payload execution sort of worked, where a bad actor would load the log file with that remote execution command. It would load something off of their server. It would run with the same credentials and permissions on the vulnerable server, execute whatever code the bad dude wanted to have executed, which was potentially, hey, reach out to my server and let me get an interactive shell on yours, just to shortcut the nonsense. Let me just take full control of your box based on the permissions that was running the service that this thing just logged into. Very nasty. Very, very bad.
Yeah.
Many, many, many places were affected.
Well, and you're still hoping your vendors are on the ball and realize that they need to patch their stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some vendors out there that are going to be continuing to struggle with this for quite a period of time because it's enormous expense to react to this very, very quickly. It's an IT expense that a lot of organizations are not prepared to deal with or even know how to deal with because they don't know how deep it goes into their systems. Because as you were saying, Jeremy, it's in some forgotten piece of code that only gets run once in a while. And that's going to, pop up 6 months from now. And they're going to get creamed with it over and over again.
Oh, God, yeah.
Sad state.
And so they just put out a new one today, a new patch today. And so it just completely disables the whole Java naming and directory interface that this uses to be able to write logs. But what it does is it means that anything you were running that actually depended on that is now going to fall down and go boom, because now that's literally not running, but it's also almost the only way without going in and modifying your code to be able to know that you're at least relatively secure at this point in time.
Yeah,
so
there were
even
legitimate
the fix
uses.
is going to break stuff. Oh yeah,
yeah, there were legitimate uses for this JNDI, inclusion, but yeah, clearly it wasn't well thought out in this regard.
No.
Let's pause here to hear a word from our first podcast sponsor this week.
That would be LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Find your next hire fast. You'll have to excuse me. I was responding to Kent.
No, it's fine. Actually, having that slight pause there, Brett, makes it easier for the transition point because otherwise I have to fade out really quickly. Because
sorry.
I don't want to have you announce it and then immediately go to you doing the pro ad read because then it just feels like, I don't know. So I'm just like, after the word sponsor, I fade, and then it will come up with your proper ad read in the visuals and stuff.
All right. I'll remember to pause.
Just for a second, just a half second.
Yes.
So this is why you watch live, to see stuff like that. Like I'm playing director. Like, Brett, great performance, but you missed your cue.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Can we do a retake on this?
14.
Can we come back? Can we come back on that? Have you seen it?
Seen what?
The Discord picture. It's of you.
Of me? No, I don't want to see it.
You might not notice the difference. It is subtle.
Okay.
It's a bit subtle.
Okay.
But it's nice.
We're back, and we're going to talk about... Okay, it's not New Year's yet. Everybody makes these... I don't know if people still do this. So people still make New Year's resolutions. They talk about slimming down after the holidays, excess.
Yeah.
Well, Valve, they're taking advantage of the fact, and they've got to have some kind of positive to come out of the Steam Deck delay. Originally, it was supposed to be shipping this month. Now it's not shipping until February, until it's delayed again. So what are they doing? Well, they're hitting the treadmill. They're drinking more water. They've started, I don't know if they're doing like keto or what they're up to, but they've slimmed down SteamOS considerably. I saw this on Computer Based earlier because I like to read Computer Based through Google Translate like a normal person. And 14 gigabytes more room for activities, writes this person at PCPro.com. their latest SteamOS build reduces the footprint on a device's storage by a considerable amount, that 14 gigs, from 24 gigabytes to around 10 with the latest image, which is, image build 2021 1120.2. So that's good, especially if you're like me and pre-ordered the 256 gigabyte version of the Steam Deck. That extra 14 gigs is like a game, an older game. Because all new games are like 100 gigabytes, but before I have to hit, external storage cards, I have 14 gigs more. So, and there's some other improvements, and the wireless performance has been improved apparently. HDMI output has been corrected, other stuff. So they're working on it, which is good. So, if the hardware itself is delayed because you can't get chips and you want to have enough to fulfill the pre-orders, I approve of any kind of delay. Not that my opinion matters, but in the meantime, if they're just tightening up the software and optimizing it, it's just going to be that much better experience when it finally does come out. Because of course the developer platform is out there. The hardware exists.
Yeah, you have one on order, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I ordered one. I think you ordered one. Josh or Jeremy, I think. Did you guys order one?
Nah.
I mean, you're not really ordering it. You're pre-ordering for $5 for the link to buy it later.
Correct.
So I've secured my place in line. I pre-ordered
Yes.
it as soon as it went live. It took me about 15 minutes to actually, get an order through because the system was just crashing all over itself because of bots and demand and bots. So,
Hey, if we could pause here briefly, I just wanted to say Cookie is a new patron member. So thanks, man.
welcome, Cookie. Or
Appreciate it.
Or in us, thanks, man. Just being kind of a general. We don't know.
It is.
Cookie.
Could be.
You never know.
Could be one of those
C is
women
for Cookie.
patrons. Yes, you never know.
What does that mean? I might have to cut that out. Could be one of those
C for
women
Cookie.
patrons.
It's a.
You said it with a bit of a
You're still
sneer.
muted, Josh.
I don't hate
Well-
women. All right, I just want to go on
No.
record. Brett is
Okay.
not on record.
Yeah, you are
as
muted.
saying that. Hold
Look,
on, who's
I need
muted?
to go on record here.
Josh
Let me
is
just
muted?
say,
Is Josh even
I
there?
do not hate women. All right, just
Josh,
flatly just state
where
that
are
right
you?
now.
Oh, you're just faking it. Come on, Josh. Stop
He's
playing.
doing it.
Yes, you are.
No,
Yes, yes, he is.
Josh.
Oh, that Josh.
Where are you?
USB fell down. Go
No, not now.
Nope.
Cannot hear you.
Nope. Seriously,
Usually this happens before we start, and Josh is just mixing it up.
pretty much every time. Now he's going to do it in the middle. Did you turn it off and on again?
While we wait for Josh. Oh, look, the file transfer. The file transfer is over. The file transfer is over.
Let's check in on the file transfer.
Oh, wait. I don't know. There's some duplication here.
That's okay. It's nothing.
It's deduping.
And look, it's doing it at like hundreds of kilobytes per second. Oh, no, 100. No, less than 100. That's slowing down again.
See, there you go.
Look, I just wanted to move my configuration from my computer upstairs to this one down here. That's all. There it is. It's
Anything?
finished.
You're asking a
It
lot.
finished.
Yay.
Hello?
Josh is
Hi,
back.
Josh.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
My joke
Yes.
was
Yes.
we accept all cookies.
Yes.
That's true. That is true. It's not even a joke. It's actually true. Wait, if we could just stop here a moment for this new patron member. The new patron member has named themselves Ryan Trout's Weeping Legacy.
And proud of it. Thank you very much.
Oh, true story. Speaking of Ryan Shrout, I feel like the spirit of Ryan Shrout is haunting me. And we're not even in the same
Why is-
state. He's in Kentucky.
Why is that?
Because, all right, I don't know. I don't
Did you touch a
think-
raid?
I didn't, but it was the same kind of disaster. It was one of those things. Okay, what is Ryan's favorite candy? Does anybody remember? He used to talk about it.
All I remember is the obnoxious things that Al used to put in his Orange Crush.
Huh.
He was on Twitter recently talking about his favorite candy. Josh, are you still there? Are you muted again?
He's doing it again.
He's
Yep.
doing it. He's just Josh. Don't do that.
Don't do.
Come on.
Much shame.
Wait, is he gone?
Oh man.
Did he sign
I
off?
don't know.
Oh, he's
no.
back.
He's back,
No,
but we
can't hear you.
Josh. In all seriousness, we
Still can't hear you.
No,
No,
can't.
seriously. No.
And I feel like he's actually talking. I'm looking at his throat is moving. I feel like he's
I know. I
actually
feel like he's-
projecting.
And there's the look on his face is I really, really wanted to do this. I really wanted to.
Whoa!
say
Now
something
Brett's
here.
volume is clipping. What is
Oh,
happening?
sorry,
and
'cause
Alan's
I-
claiming it was 7-Up and not Orange Crush. I'm pretty sure you did that on a podcast at one point.
Josh, are you whispering now?
What is happening?
Yes,
Can't hear me?
it works.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hey.
you.
It's Josh.
This is where everybody
can hear you, but only when you
right?
whisper.
This is the reason.
That you're currently watching a live taping of the PC Perspective podcast. We apologize for the technical difficulties, Josh.
The edited show is shorter.
Yeah,
And
without all of
bereft
this.
technical difficulties.
I don't want to work extra hard on this one, so I'll just leave everything. But, my story. Not that anybody cares. Like, where was I? Oh, so Ryan's favorite candy was Swedish Fish. He used to talk about Swedish Fish. He was on Twitter recently asking, like, if you're, like, I don't remember if it was a desert island scenario or what, Swedish Fish. Like, I ate a piece of Swedish Fish for the first time in I don't know how long the other night. And there was a weird feeling in my mouth, and I spat it out, thinking there was something in the candy. Oh no. It pulled the crown out of my mouth.
Oh no!
And I had
Gummies will do that.
I had a
Oh.
pile of chewed Swedish fish and a crown in my hand. This was Friday
And
night.
$1,000.
So of course I can't make it to the dentist because they're not open on Saturday or Sunday. I didn't consider it an emergency enough to call the dentist at home. But
Well, you take some of the Swedish Fish and you put it underneath the crown and you just jam it up there. It'll stick. For
there was
a
some
weekend.
under the crown. I mean, it was everywhere. I had to like clean the red off of. It looked like it was covered in blood. And I'm like, it's disgusting.
Oh.
So I put it in a Ziploc. Went to the dentist this morning, and they looked it over and like, you know what? This isn't damaged or anything. Let's clean it up and we'll just glue it back in there. So we just put it back in. It took like 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So does it work?
You're back.
Yeah, your audio
You're back,
works.
Josh.
It's
You're
fixed.
back.
Okay, here's the problem: is that whenever I mute it, when the dog starts barking, I can't. It says it's unmuted, but obviously, it is not.
It doesn't come back.
So you're gonna
know-
have to deal with the dogs.
Okay,
It's
fine.
all right.
That's
It's
fair.
all right. He's just
Okay.
gonna take it out in post.
The dogs? No.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a period of time where it's nothing but dogs barking and nobody's talking, yes, I will edit it. I don't have the technology to remove dog barks from speech.
Yeah, I know
maybe
that
maybe NVIDIA
Audacity
needs
went
to work
evil.
on that.
All right, what was our first story when we come back? We talked about...
Um,
Well, we already did. We
doing
talked
here?
about the Steam Deck slimming down.
oh, yeah. We're going to talk about SK Hynix.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, yeah, never mind. I will say that... I just won't even say anything. It was about another outlet. All right.
Moving
There's
along.
Alan going out.
Moving
loud.
along. Digitimes Asia reports that SK Hynix has started shipping 24 gigabit DDR5 chip samples. Now, of course, there won't be just one chip on the module itself, so these are intended for DIMMs that will have, this is odd, I mean, we're not used to these numbers, a 48 gigabyte module and a 96 gigabyte module. Used in cloud data centers, it says. But I just wonder, maybe this will kind of trickle down. What if we have desktops with like two 48 gigabyte DDR5 DIMMs for a total of 96? It's kind of wild to think about the capacity like that. But I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on this story that I added?
It's nice that now DDR5 is located on Newegg Shuffle. You want some DDR5?
Well,
I saw
hey,
your tweet on that.
lottery
Josh. Just buy a
ticket.
motherboard.
Yeah, just get whatever motherboard that we bundle with the DIMMs. So
right. Oh, it's bundled even. Lovely.
Yeah,
yes,
it's a bundle deal.
It's.
Yeah.
I think DDR5 might be more profitable than trying to flip a graphics card right now. The prices that I've seen are just insane.
Yeah.
Like
might be right.
$1,700 on a $350 kit. Well, maybe it's a $500 kit, but still, it's a huge return, obviously. How about something less unpleasant? Storage throughout this entire debacle. And I saw another story, I don't think it's on this list, that NAND is going to be coming down, apparently, just because of supply and so forth
It's
next
looking
quarter.
good.
But
Yeah.
storage in general, spinning Rust is available, and it's getting really, really big. 20
Big.
terabytes from Seagate.
And this is conventional.
Really?
This is not shingled.
It's
yeah,
not.
this is
It's not
conventional.
shingled magnetic.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. The Iron Wolf drives are good. I don't know about these Exos Enterprise drives, but
It's the same damn thing, but optimized more for writing in an enterprise environment.
let me see. So I don't.
But yeah,
really need
they're
them
full of
in the
helium,
NAS.
which
Okay.
you would need. Well, either way, I mean, they're perfect for an NAS because they're CMS.
I like how you pointed out that 20 terabyte SSDs are still a bit rare. I
It's
don't
true.
think I'd want to know how much. First of all, do you know the price of these Seagate hard drives? Or they've not announced the price yet.
So no, but the 16 terabytes that are out usually go for around 5-ish and are currently on sale for 3. So I think that gives us a decent idea.
I'm
So
going
Unless
to
they're
sale
the
price
Chia
on these is
optimized ones, in which
probably
case
gonna
God
be-
knows how much they'll charge you.
Probably going to be just under 5, I'm guessing, the sale
Yeah.
price on these.
Let me go over to the Tweaktown review that you helpfully linked here and see if
They
have
didn't
updated
List
with-
it.
Oh, I was hoping. They
No, they might have updated it, but
Let's go to the final
I think
thoughts
part of the was
page. Final thoughts.
by Jack Handy.
Yes.
Jack Handy.
And they have a link to the
285
18
megabytes a
terabyte
second?
version, which is only $350. That's
Yeah,
Wow.
like they're on sale.
Nicely affordable.
that's a lot of storage.
It's a
Even
lot
at
of
350
storage, man.
350 is not bad for an 18 terabyte drive, and that's an enterprise drive.
I agree. I agree.
Oh,
Is it still available at that price? Oh,
Okay,
it's down to
I
down
see
$2 more
it.
dollars. It's $348, but it may arrive after Christmas.
2023.
It's being shipped by Maestro Technology.
Okay, no. Someone has obviously bought them all because I see it for sale on Amazon for $2,000.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh.
So obviously, the Chia heads have already gotten a hold of these bloody things because they are actually ridiculously fast. 285 megabits throughput is for spinning Rust. I mean, hey,
That's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
Alan's
And they
in
were
the
actually
Discord
hit.
right now. Let's ask him how many he
Yeah,
bought.
he's
Yeah,
bragging.
how many of these 20 terabyte drives did you get, Alan?
Yeah,
18.
ships
The
from
18
Warewaves Imports.
Where is this? I see the 18.
It was the Iron Wolf that came up for me.
Iron Wolf? Okay. I just searched Seagate 20 terabyte. Maybe it's something in the Canadian Amazon.
No, this is Calm.
Okay.
Although
Alan
to be
says he's
fair, it
not
was the
to
same
blame.
price in Canada too.
Wait,
Alan
was it
says
20?
it's not him. He's not to blame.
Okay, he said it's not him. All right.
Oh no, actually, hell, no, buy it in Canada. It's only $1,150.
Wow.
Oh.
You're still getting ripped off, but
You're
I mean,
getting
that's
ripped
not
off
even
with
real money,
anything
so.
anymore. It's fine. It's like buying retail jewelry. You know it's a scam, but
you love it anyways.
But you,
Or
well, you
her.
don't. You just, yeah, she's just
Yeah.
like, look, I just need you need to get out of the doghouse and just throw it on a credit card. Who cares?
Just
Nothing
put it on
says
the
sorry like a big chunk out of the bank account.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Get you out of the
beautiful.
doghouse, probably.
You shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. Or
No, really.
$7,000. All right.
Well, I mean, it's the season for those psychos that just like every other normal person run out and buy their spouse a car without any input whatsoever.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
I enjoyed the SNL take on that last year. I think it was last year. The fake Lexus commercial. Make it a holiday to remember. She's like, you bought a fucking car without talking to me about it?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
can't
all they
afford
had to
this.
do
This is a
to make it-
Lexus. We can't afford this payment.
All they had to do to make it comedy was just make it real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
turned
That's
into
what-
real
hey,
life. And
good comedy. The secret to comedy is making it real.
Timing.
Yes. Well, and just earnestness.
and impeccable timing.
Yes. Okay. Now we've talked about 20 terabyte drives, but what about
Seems small.
30 terabyte drives? I'm willing to believe anything at this point. 50 terabytes, 100. One, is it petabyte or petabyte? Or does it matter? Is it like beta and...
Oh, it matters a lot.
I'm sure. So
a peta.
SDK, you know, a platter maker, the saucer-like components that store data inside hard disk drives, according to this article, has announced that it has developed a new type of media that uses microwave-assisted switching, microwave-assisted magnetic recording, or MASMAR technology.
This seems
Mammer.
legit. This seems legit because Toshiba is usually
is.
one of the leaders in this area.
It's coming. Could it be launched next year?
Could be 30.
Yeah.
I think it's been
terabytes
coming next year
soon.
for a while now.
Yeah, 2023.
They put a microwave on my reading and writing head.
Yeah.
What
So
could
that
they-
you can
Reese's
heat up-
commercial. You put chocolate in my peanut butter.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember Al back in about 2017 or so, but it's taken me a while to dig back that far. But yeah, the hammer and the mammer. It's neat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to change the state of something that precisely and that quickly. Especially when
Yeah,
you're allowed to
it's
be
crazy.
sloppy around the edges because you got no choice.
Does that hard drive come in a 900 watt or an 1100 watt range?
Yeah.
And you're gonna want a
Like your microwave oven.
you're gonna want a dedicated 20 amp circuit for this in your kitchen. If you plug it into that 15, it's probably gonna blow the breaker during lengthy transfers. All right, should we move on to our gaming picks of the week?
Yeah.
Some
The
gaming
gaming
updates, as
corner.
it were.
Gaming
Yeah.
pickiness.
Yeah. So what selections have been made? I never add to this list, so it's always kind of a surprise to me when I look down
Well,
and see.
Jeremy picked a good one here with Star Wars Eclipse because the video for this is top notch, I think.
Really?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, they did a brilliant job on the trailer, and that's the only thing they're going to do a good job on.
Oh.
This is Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream
Famous
that
for-
brought us. Becoming Human. What was it called?
Detroit?
Detroit.
I think that was
yes.
one of them. Yeah.
It was. It made Bethesda dialogue look good and light-handed.
Wait,
They've done some
I
others.
like some Bethesda dialogue. I mean, come on.
Yes, you like some. You're not going to like any of this unless they've really changed it, and it's the same guy on charge of it. So no, it's
David
going to
Cage.
be David Cage.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to I'm cheating because I can't remember what the last one they did before that was. It was Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, the PlayStation ones. But yeah, they're all been heavy-handed and just not good, which is really disappointing because I mean this is set in the High Republic area, and you're out in the Outer Rim, and you're going to be, and here it comes, playing several already existing characters with their own backstories and personalities that you get to take over and do what they want to. But the game is just stupidly gorgeous.
Yeah. I feel like that
It's almost
establishing shot
unreal.
was taken straight from episode 1, but
Well,
There-
I mean, there's going to be a lot of caging.
yeah.
Some of these shots are really, really awesome. I mean,
That's from one of the prequels. That shot was with Yoda. Yeah, it's
My flesh! My flesh!
all right.
You promised me flesh!
I think we've seen it.
The pain!
Yeah.
some
said,
of the
"Hey, I
scenes
hope I'm
are
wrong."
really incredible.
It's
I
really
hope I'm
amazing what
wrong,
you can
but-
do when you take stock footage from some of the movies and cut it in with some green screen stuff and stuff you did on the set of The Mandalorian, and we'll see what the action
And then add
Since
some
you're-
extra RTX.
Since you're cutting it down a little bit.
looks like. Look, I'm just a healthy skeptic. I'm not going to jump up and down. Maybe I'm just
Well,
hurt. I think this is coming from a
You're
place
not
of
the
pain.
only one.
I wanted Star
who's a healthy
Wars to
skeptic.
be good. I wanted it to continue to be good. I thought it was cool.
I think
they
if you
were
check
making new
that,
movies, and I saw
that
some of
that
them.
eye link, it will probably not be good. You're not the only skeptic on board or not on board.
I like this. Who somebody added this link? Like, don't look at how cool the Eclipse trailer is. Trick you. This game will not be good. Well,
Yeah,
that's an
pretty much the
opinion,
fun-
Alice Bell,
Yeah.
deputy
Yeah,
editor.
Alice says no.
Yeah, she's using George Bush quotes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Fool me.
Fool won't
You
get
can't
fooled
get
again.
fooled. Yeah, you can't get fooled again.
Yeah. Fool won't get fooled again. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
So Alice clearly is of the opinion.
She's on a board.
It's
But
it's
hey,
not
that's
going
just
to
her
turn
opinion.
out well.
Oh, I got an email about the ridiculous sales going on right now at GOG. You know, Good Old Games, who now
They always
doesn't
have sales.
acknowledge that anymore. They're just GOG now, capital GOG. That company that put out Cyberpunk. They used to sell games. They still do. And look at the sale prices in some of these. It's probably still going to be going on when you watch this or listen to it.
Now, the link that I had you pick through, I had an idea on, hey, you're going to have some family over, you're going to have some friends, you're going to have your bro, whoever's going to be there,
Bro.
your brother, family members, cousins, uncles. I picked out this link that would be like $10 or less or free co-op games that nobody's ever
Okay.
seen or few have played. There's 8 pages of under $10 co-op games here.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you can throw down $1.29, and pick up probably a game to get you through the holidays.
Crowd
with,
around the
your-
PC. Hopefully they
Yeah.
have a secondary input device.
or maybe a second PC, because these games, many of them, do not look very demanding. So
Well,
there's
I mean, you
probably
could
an
probably put a
option
lot
to
of them
do
inside
some-
of a virtual machine at this point. But GOG takes
a
care
good
of that
point.
for you. You don't have to screw around with DOSBox settings. It's all built into the
It's true.
installer.
It's true. So have some fun with the friends and family this week. Buy a few $5 or $10 games from GOG, or free. They've got co-op games that are absolutely free, and non-co-op games they have a bunch of them that are just download them and play. Check it out.
Well, I mean, it is family,
a-
so cooperation
It
is secondary.
Well, I thought that would be amusing for people to sit down and play co-op rather than competitive. But yeah,
There are worse things that you could be like buttonholed into doing at a holiday get together. Like,
true.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely true.
play this old game with me. Like, okay, that's a lot better.
Yeah,
than I thought.
exactly. What a better way to pass a couple hours than do that
Exactly.
with the family around.
Instead of talking about politics with somebody,
Oh, get away from that.
Yeah, just run away. All right.
Just say no.
Let's pause right here to hear from our second podcast sponsor this week. It's a very long
VPLS.
moment, Brett. That's a very
I did it
long
on
moment.
purpose. I did it on purpose. So that was not right either. So I should wait shorter, not quite as long.
Whatever makes you happy, because as soon as I say sponsor, it fades out, and then I just pick it up when it's time to fade back in after the ad read. So
This
all of this
part
is
the
being cut out.
podcast-
All of this
This part of the podcast is brought to you by
Bullshit.
VPLS.
is being cut out.
VPLS, cloud hosting and IT support services.
No, we weren't calling them BS. I was just
No, they're not. They're not.
I was
BS. They're
making
for
sure I
real.
remembered. Because I try to keep
I'm-
this family friendly. When I edit,
I'm BS.
I have actually censored us before. I'll cut out, because I don't. When I go to the like inappropriate content flag screen, I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with that. It's like, no, we didn't say anything objectionable. No, there was no swearing.
I guess I'm not
That's-
trying hard enough anymore.
Well, you're muted half the time.
And if it's funny enough, I just leave it in. So who cares? It's not excessive. It's not excessive profanity. Just say it a few times. It's already time for picks of the week. Can you believe it? We've only been recording for like 53 minutes at this point, and the finished product will
Burn
be about
through it.
30, leading into picks of the week. Josh, start us off.
me. So I got one of these things. I'm kind of old on not very quick, but Yeah, it's a decent little cell phone holder you put on your arm when you're out exercising. I actually started doing that again, and I needed to get my little motion in with the sensor in my cell phone, so I got one of those. They're less than $15. They're decent quality. They're comfortable. They're washable. They wick up your sweat. They're somewhat semi waterproof. I mean, you get splashed and it's not going to ruin your phone, but it seems to breathe, and comes in a variety of patterns and colors. I just got the basic black one because I'm unoriginal and I don't care. So yeah, it something I actually bought, something I use. I think for the price, it's a perfectly solid product. Tribe cell phone holder for your arm or very skinny leg.
I had one of those about I don't know, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
They're fine.
like I said, I'm kind of slow.
I will say, if you just have a pair of like jogging pants on and you put your big giant, modern 6+ inch screen phone in there, it's possible with some shallow pockets that thing could go flying once you actually start to run. So this is still a practical.
Or once again, you forget to make it private.
Well, yeah, that too. Or you're like making phone calls like from your pocket while running,
Oh yeah, pocket dialing.
calling your boss, and all you can hear is like strange sounds of heavy breathing.
Heavy breathing.
Yeah, it's not
Get
Then you have
fired.
to have a private conversation with you on Monday.
You just stop doing that.
You can't do this.
I was in the middle of a meeting.
It excites
I
me.
had it on speaker. Okay. Jeremy, your turn.
What?
You made a pick. Now you have to
Oh,
face
God.
the music.
Yeah, speaking of being relatively slow, I just found about Ventoy this week. Ventoy is a little bit better than your average boot disk, which, to be honest, have sort of gone a little bit out of style. So this will work on any removable media, be it a USB drive or, as someone I was talking with on Twitter is going to be using it on their HP Enterprise servers. You compile it. It creates a tiny little boot disk that's not even don't think it was a full gig. And the rest of it, you can mount whatever ISO you want to it. And by that, I don't mean using Rufus or something to mount it properly. I mean, you just take the ISO and you dump it onto your boot drive. And so when you boot from this, it pops up into the little menu that you're seeing, or if you're on the audio, it pops up into a menu where you can choose between the ISOs that you've copied over and just boot from it. You're not messing around with config files. You're not creating a separate one for every single one that you've got. And the thing will even do Linux Live. So if you prefer a certain GUI layout or a couple of tools on it, it'll save it back to that disk in the ISO format. So the next time you boot up, boom, you're presented with the exact same thing that you've got. It doesn't seem to care about what file system you're using or what file system you're booting onto for the most part. I mean, if you're booting an Apple ISO and trying to read a Windows NT partition, you might run into some difficulties, but there's ways around it. But it's just stupidly tiny and ridiculously easy to use. And, it's sometimes it's not fun digging out the newest copy of Rufus and trying to mount an ISO and then getting all annoyed because it decides it's the wrong size and yada, yada, yada. So, hey, it's a fancy little thing. Got a handy little 16 gig drive lying around. You can probably actually fit 3 or 4 OSs on it, and away you go. I like it.
I'll have to check it out. All right, Brett, this pick is blowing my mind. How is this even
I agree.
possible?
We just talked about this a little while ago about the quality of like the cams that we were using or looking at or would recommend.
That thing behind me.
And this is one of the ones that we just talked about a little while ago, the C920S. This is a fantastic deal from Amazon.
That's stupid cheap.
$56. I guess their normal price is $70, so it's not
That's
a lot off.
cheap.
But I mean,
there was a time just
56
last
I know.
year at the height
Couldn't
of
get 'em.
meetings and like at home,
Yeah.
and, like everybody having to do remote learning. You
Yeah,
couldn't buy
Zoom
one of
Live,
these
the
at
height of
any
Zoom Live.
price, and now, I mean, this is retail. I don't see anything about it saying that it's renewed or anything. It's shipped and sold by Amazon.
No,
It's brand
it
new
looks
retail
pretty good.
package.
If you click the box, I think one over, it says brown
Brown
box, retail packaging.
Oh, with XSplit
Yeah.
license.
Yeah, so you can get some software with it. I mean, this is a very good camera, 1080p, 30 FPS. I mean, it's not going to blow your socks off for 60 FPS, high speed stuff, but
Yeah, but
that's
you
not
don't
what you
really
need for
need that unless you have an insane,
yeah.
fiber connection or something.
And outbound bandwidth. You're just not going to need it. It's a great camera. It's a reasonable price. If you couldn't get one, now's the time.
And it will blow your webcam on your laptop out of the water. That's the important thing.
Oh, completely, utterly destroy it. Yes.
I mean, I use a 920 for a long time, and the only difference between that and this, as far as I know, is that privacy shutter.
Yeah,
Physical
it
shutter.
is.
Which
That's what
isn't
the
a
S
bad
is for.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I just unplugged the
Unless
webcam.
you're a nose hair fetish. Yeah. Unless you're a nose hair fetishist, in which case it'll ruin the whole thing and go back to that. Go back to the nose cam on your.
You're
laptop.
watching the
Although
wrong
I
show
saw-
if that's what you're into.
I think it was Dell has come out with a magnetic one that they say is going to work. It's snapped to their monitor. I'm not quite sure I believe this,
Yeah,
or at
like
least
you
that it's
stick
going
it
to be a
anywhere.
very good
I don't know if
transfer.
it's a
Not
suction cup
for
on one
CRT
side,
use.
but yeah.
I
I kind of don't like the idea of having everybody staring straight into the camera all the time. It's very aggressive.
There's someone's done a doctorate on this, on Zoom
What do you mean?
fatigue.
Oh,
The mammal brain interprets webcasts as people staring directly at them. Even though they're not, the back of your head is like there are a bunch of people that have just been staring directly at me for a great amount of time. And, this used to be a bad thing and causes great amount of stress to be done. So they quantitized it and, got a PhD out of it.
This is why our podcast is so accessible and enjoyable, because we're all looking just slightly away from the camera.
It's true,
'Cause
usually,
my monitor
yes.
is here, and I'm looking at it. And like Josh right now, he just made eye contact with the camera. He's being
Yeah.
kind of aggressive. Now, which is better, this or...
Stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Huh.
Oh,
See,
he's
you'll
still
get
doing
stuck
it.
that way.
He's still doing it.
If you do that, you'll get stuck that way. Didn't your mother ever tell you?
Still doing it.
SCTV, we could do the 3D.
That's Jeremy used to be on SCTV. I don't know if anybody
Yeah.
knows that.
Yeah. With the
Second
great John
City was a
Candy and
Canadian production. Yeah.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
All right, for my
Get in
pick,
there.
I actually have one this week, and it's because it's something archaic, and why would you ever do this? But did you know? Now I've talked about DOS Box X before. I can't say it, but it's that nice looking front end for DOS Box that has all these powerful features and stuff. I especially like the fact that when you install it, you can choose the default graphics driver. So I use OpenGL Pixel Perfect, and here's what I was thinking. I want a pixel perfect integer scaled experience from my retro operating systems, not just DOS. And DOS is great, and DOS has, thousands of games. Obviously, you can play on any platform, from Android phones all the way up through Windows PCs and stuff. But what if that wasn't enough? What if you have a game that you wanted to play, haven't played in a long time, does not play on a modern operating system? You don't want to play the remastered version of it with its fancy schmancy 3D looking graphics. You just want to go back to the basics. I had it in my head that I wanted to play the original Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2. And of course, this Age of Empires 2 has been redone. You can get it on Steam for like $20. I just wanted to play the original, and it's a Windows game. It doesn't have a DOS installer. So you need Windows 95 or 98 to play stuff like that. There is a way, without having to resort to running a virtual machine and trying to get audio to work and all this other nonsense. There's a way to run Windows 98 in DOSBox X, and they actually have an excellent tutorial on their wiki about this, which I will link in the show notes. But I followed all the instructions. It's pretty simple. They even give you a example config file, which is copied and pasted. And I will say that when it was all said and done, you really do need a fairly slow system to emulate, or else you're going to have wonky audio. They said MMX seems to be problematic when I was reading some threads about it for the problem I was having. I was having choppy audio that wasn't playing properly. It wasn't even synchronized. So I scaled it back.
Your driver's probably saying you're trying to write to what?
Yeah, I was emulating a Pentium, like 166 MMX. So I scaled it back. I did 486 DX4 100. That worked great. So I think you need to be kind of high-end 486, not MMX Pentium. Or first-generation Pentium, if you must. Non-MMX, because that seems to be problematic. But it runs perfectly fine. In fact, I won't just relate my experience. I will just show you right now, live, on this laptop, the insane file transfer that took forever was just trying to get DOSBox transferred over. Let me just start this up. Wait, okay. If everything copied correctly, this should boot into Windows 98. There we go. Now, this is unimpressive because it's just running in a little window. Some of the options here. I talked about CPU. The CPU core defaults to a CPU type of Pentium MMX. You don't want that. You want to go down to Pentium. I chose 486, just basic 486. You can emulate a CPU speed.
My God, you can hot swap CPUs?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to put a
It's your dream come
DX4
true.
100 in this thing. I don't think it has any problems by doing it hot like that. But here's another thing.
What
you can do.
video options? I want to see.
Video. Look at these. You have all these different scalar options, of course. Output is what I'm talking about. You can do OpenGL, nearest neighbor, or perfect. Now, perfect is going to slightly change the way this looks. But when I go full screen, I'll do fit to aspect ratio. Now toggle full screen. Because of the particular resolution of this laptop, it does not quite fit vertically. Depends on what the resolution is that you have set in the operating system itself. I think this one's set to 800 by 600 or maybe it's 640 by 480. We'll see.
I kind of think that's 640, but
Yeah, it's only 640.
yeah.
Let's see what the scaling looks like at 8 by 6. Will that totally fill the screen or not? Nope, too small. So it depends on your actual native resolution. I was doing this earlier on a 1440p monitor, and of course, 640 by 480 exactly multiplies into 1440 because it's 480 times. Is it times 4? Times I don't know what I'm saying, but it looks great. And here I have Age of Empires, the original, and
Is it going to ask you for a code from the manual?
no, because the original Age of Empires actually allows you to fully install, so you don't even need the disc.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just play it right off the hard drive.
If you had the space.
Well, yeah. And it looks like it's not running that well. Maybe it's this laptop. I was using a much more powerful machine earlier. So I recommend doing this on a desktop if you're going to run Windows 98 inside of DOSBox. But here I could... anyway, it works. I don't have to actually start playing a campaign, but Windows 98 running inside of DOSBox. And if you were looking at the monitor that I'm looking at, because of course this is through a capture card and it's being scaled, it is razor sharp looking. So, I don't know.
Cool.
It works.
VMs for the common man.
Yeah.
Now I can play all the DOS games I want to play, and then when I finally find that title, like, I have to have Windows for that one. I'll load up this alternate configuration I have with an image, a hard drive image that I've made, and it's not that difficult. It's a bunch of steps, but...
Wing Commander 3 is yours once again.
Ooh, Wing Commander.
Nice. Yeah, this is the thing. Like,
You're going to have to emulate a good sound card, though.
Yeah, this one, I have it set to Sound Blaster 16 right now, which has been working just fine. But the GOG stuff, a lot of it uses DOSBox, but then there's Windows era games that don't run in DOS, and there's like some, like, I don't know what all the trickery they use is, like wrappers or what it is that's actually emulating the Windows experience that they need to run those games. But it is 98 SC. I used SC. See the
There is
comments
only
say,
SC.
Imagine how well it would run with SE. Well, it was. It was SE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
SE,
that
yeah.
was it.
Okay.
256 colors.
I like it that way.
Well, that made it run faster, too.
Yeah, and that's why I ran it at the lower resolution too. It's slow your system down quite a bit. Believe it or not, emulating Windows 98 is a lot harder than emulating DOS. Well, that's our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed listening to it, watching it, or whatever you did. And we will... I think we're going to be back next week. I think the 22nd worked out for everybody and the 29th didn't. So we're going to take the week, the Wednesday between holidays off. But for some reason, we're going to podcast 3 days before Christmas.
Nice.
I really don't know why. I don't know if there'll be any news. Everything is pre-CES mode right now. So nobody's really announcing anything.
And everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah.
Just to spoil
It'll probably
it for
all
next
just
week.
be bad news.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we could
We'll-
just
we'll
hang
talk
out for
about
a
it,
few
though.
minutes and talk.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
talk about that. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Josh will have trouble with his mic. It's going to be some riveting.
It's going to be awesome.
video.
My dogs
Yeah.
will be
Awesome.
barking.
It's great. That doesn't mean his feet are going to hurt. That his dogs are
Yeah.
actually going to be barking.
Maybe we'll have a Christmas unboxing spectacular. Maybe I'll devalue all
fun.
of these things.
Maybe we can
behind me
have,
by
you know,
taking them out of the box.
our picks of the year, our favorite thing that came out
Oh,
in the year
you
that we can talk about.
frickin'
Yeah.
bastard.
Let's see. All the hardware.
We don't want to
can
do the
buy.
full thing where it's like, you know, the best CPU and the best video card and blah, blah, blah. It's just
Just got to pick
something.
one thing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. The best
Yeah.
CPU? Yeah, you can't buy it. Oh, the best GPU of 2021? Nah, you can't buy
Yeah,
it.
you
Don't
can't
lie.
buy it.
Can't buy that either.
Yeah, but DDR4 memory. You can buy that.
Memory of the year.
You can buy it.
DDR4.
Comes in a bucket now.
Yeah.
You've
It's in
tipped your
yeah,
hand
so
at
the
everybody's
$5
favorite pick.
movie bins at Walmart. It's all just DDR4.
Yeah.
It's pretty low latency stuff.
Coming
if
to
you
find
just do
out.
it really far down.
It doesn't suck. It's okay.
Yeah. No, it does. Everything sucks.
Well, except NVMe SSDs.
No, yeah,
They
those
don't
are bad.
suck.
Memory. Okay,
They've
good.
actually stayed
Memory
fairly
and storage
good, too.
have been fine. So if you're happy with your CPU and video card, then
Hey, they finally got wheels and joysticks back in stock and webcams.
Oh,
Webcams, I'm
That's
sure
true.
about.
it's true.
I haven't checked
Yeah.
on wheels and joysticks yet.
See,
haven't
everybody
checked
sent
my
their
stick of
kids.
joy.
Everybody sent their kids back to school, and they don't need as many webcams anymore. So you can actually buy it. Again.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
oh, don't
good.
worry, they're coming home again soon.
You know, we're
Josh,
ruining
you
next
still-
week's show.
I know. All right. Well,
Josh,
see you
you
later,
still playing
guys.
driving games?
Next week.
Yes.
All right.
The end.
See you later.
Bye.
I'm gonna end the recording. Yeah, my son will be
driving
off
games?
after Friday. My son is off until next year, so
Wow.
he'll be home with me, just hanging out
Don't
like
put
the old
you in
days.
Same with my kids. They're home from college.
I can tell. It's going to be a good time for you.
Al Bundy says 32 gigs of 3200 crucial. Not even with RGBs. 99 euros
Yeah.
over there lately.
Inexpensive. Almost tempted
Wow,
to buy
I mean-
another set just because.
Yeah.
The Flashfire Cobra's not too bad, but they're in stock. But damn, there ain't much in the way of sales, is there? Even your Airbus isn't on sale.
Yeah, I almost had a negative pick tonight. The the joystick and the throttles were $189, but you could add those two other ones for $199. These two, I don't understand the pricing on them. It's just not worth it. Too niche. Too niche.
That
Anyway.
T16
How is the Logi 945 HOTAS for VR? Why is that for VR?
Let's see what's available right now. DDR5.
X52 is 200 bucks.
My Pilot Store's got that T16000M FCS HOTAS for $169 right now. That seems like a good deal.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, so the bundles with the DDR5 are not available outside of the Newegg Shuffle?
Correct.
What, don't you read
Lame.
Josh's tweets?
I didn't see that one.
Nobody
I saw the one
does.
about the food, and I copied the link to it. But Like, I need that for the show notes. This one ships directly from Hong Kong.
From Voyet. Voyet.
Who doesn't want the slowest DDR5 you can get with the Micron chips that everybody else?
And 16 gigs.
Only if I overpay for it.
Yeah, please, can I overpay for CL40 slow-ass DDR5? Thank you. $337 for an experience that would be notably worse than using 32 gigs of CL16 DDR4 in the same.
I like the most customers receive within 5 to 32 days.
Well, it depends on where you live in the world, Josh. You know,
Yeah,
this is a
it
global
does.
economy. And you can buy this in 4 interest-free payments of $84.46 using Zip, whatever the
Oof.
hell Zip is.
What is Zip?
I don't know. I've heard of Affirm, but I have not heard of Zip. Apparently, Zip is the latest millennial-approved financing option online.
Oh, okay.
I'm just guessing based on the name.
Is that what the guys that used to make the drives ended up doing?
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. Zipco Limited.
That's IO Data.
Oh, that's right. Zip was just the trademark.
iOmega.
Yeah.
Zip was previously QuadPay.
Yes,
Now I have seen the
iOmega.
QuadPay links before.
iOmega.
So these days, if it's not, what is the one that everybody uses? It's the one that PayPal owns, but millennials don't know what PayPal is, so they have to use.
It's not
Well, it's
Venmo.
because it was touched by Elon Musk, and everything he touched is evil.
Well, it ends up musky.
He
Just
look,
sort of
Elon
nasty.
Musk. He wanted to call it X.com, and they booted him out of the company, and then it became PayPal. He wasn't even there. Just like he didn't found Tesla, he was a investor
He
in it,
stole
and then
it.
he eventually took it over. Although
He
I,
stole it.
as much as I dislike him, I did find it interesting. I was watching one of the Doug DeMuro car review videos, and it was the 2008 Tesla Roadster, the original. And it was after he took over the company, and the other guys were booted out, and then he took credit, and like basically there was a settlement so that he could call himself a founder. The difference between Tesla before and after him is that they actually shipped products with him. So I guess that's something. They came out
It
with a
is.
car. It was really a Lotus rebranded as a Tesla because they redid the drivetrain, but it was basically a Lotus.
Well, and there was that whole brilliant look. We can lose money for decades, and we're still going to end up stinking rich.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
not decades, I guess,
But people just they
for a
want to be
decade, we're just going to
involved.
lose money, but we're going to end up sticking rich. It'll be perfect, and it'll work out in the end.
Elon Musk is the king of FOMO, man. It's like forget about coins. People are desperate not to miss out on the next Tesla. Forget
Well, no,
Amazon.
next up it's a bus for cars. That's what he's inventing next, is a bus for cars. You drive into it, and you park your car on the little platform, and then it drives for a while, and then you get off and drive your car again. It's literally a freaking bus for cars.
Yeah, I don't
Meanwhile,
think his
you can get
Hyperloop's going to do
across-
much.
I don't think it's going to work well, because that's...
Yeah, but you know what? SpaceX and Tesla, that's still
Yeah.
there's some still good feathers in the cap. I mean, who else lands?
The only problem is that the
rockets?
SpaceX people come back. We need to just launch him up there and leave him with his car.
Oh well. All right, I got to get out of here. Wife is finally back from work, and
Okay.
I got to warm up. So
Thanks,
thanks
Josh.
guys for everything.
Bye, Josh.
Yep,
Have a
man.
good
Miss
night.
you.
Too.
See you next week.
See you, man.
I'm going to. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to look up DDR5 RAM on eBay
Oh boy.
just to see. Okay, a single DIMM, 350.
What's that? What's that second one for $1,300?
Somebody did the Newegg Shuffle and they put it on eBay immediately.
What would that Newegg Shuffle have cost them?
I don't know.
Probably
About
not.
that, I don't think they're making much money on it.
Really?
They have 4 washers though. This is a DDR5 32 gig kit with an MSI Z690 carbon Wi-Fi board
Yeah.
for
Now I have to admit
$1,300.
the Z690 boards, in my opinion, have been a little pricey.
Yeah, it's not a cheap platform for sure. You got to pay hundreds.
It's in line with the current cost of other types of motherboards, which are similar.
Right, except you
that,
can't
you know-
buy freaking memory for it unless you pay $600 or $700 to some creep on eBay.
Get the DDR4 version.
Exactly. I want
Yeah,
to buy
sure.
a Z690 DDR4 board, but they're not cheap either. You got to pay like $400 just for the
Oh, yeah.
privilege
Have you
of using cheaper RAM.
have you checked Micro Center to see what's up there? I know it's a dirty word, but let me see. I can just drive over, you know.
Yeah. Let's see,
Z690.
microcenter.com. Let's see, DDR5. Let's just search for it. I'm going to get a bunch of DDR4, aren't I? Yeah, I am.
That's not DDR5.
It can't be at those prices.
Let's see. DDR5 is not even a
No, it
selectable
literally
memory
says
type.
DDR4.
You can't even pick it. They don't have any.
You're not rich enough. They know how much money you have.
Nah, ha, ha.
Can I just do online instead? This was the stuff that's
Yeah,
in,
forget about
in
that,
stock at
'cause-
Madison Heights.
I'm just gonna drive over. Yeah, you need to pick
Okay.
the Virginia store.
180. Okay, there's 21 options here. In store only, of course, and not at mine. So let's
Ooh,
start
save
there.
$80 to make it down to a normal price.
Is there anything cheaper? You could buy a single. Oh man, they had single DIMMs from Crucial of that basic stuff for 140, but unavailable
No,
online.
no heat sinks.
Of course,
No
that's-
RGB. No superlatives. No bling.
And now that it's out of stock, the price suddenly dropped by $200 for some
Isn't
reason.
that nice?
Yeah.
So the stuff that's actually in stock is not really. Well, it's also sold out. So none of it's actually available anywhere, in store or otherwise. Every one of these
they're-
says sold out.
Yeah. They're keeping them with the GPUs. Although the last time I was at Micro Center a couple of weeks ago, they actually had a fair number of GPUs. They even had specialty water cooled AMD GPUs on the shelf.
Oh wow, yeah, those 6900
Yes,
XT liquid cooled versions.
correct. Yes, that they had
The
those
6900
there.
XT remains the best deal in GPUs, sadly, because it has the smallest markup percentage, even though the price is like $1,600.
It was still astronomically high, but they had them on the shelf.
Right. So if you're like, I really want a new gaming PC, this RX 480 is really aging badly.
Yeah, really.
I guess I could spend $2,000 on a new GPU.
Yeah, I mean they had
good luck.
6700 XTs. They had 6800. They had 6900 air and water. They had XFX ones. They had I think they had MSI ones. Was it MSI? Maybe. I don't know. They had a couple different manufacturers there. They had Sapphire. They actually had Sapphire there. Come to think of it.
Sapphire, a big partner of AMD.
Yep, indeed. And XFX.
And Cherry.
They did not have that.
They're making keyboards now.
They've been making keyboards, but now they're making like gaming keyboards.
Fair.
Cherry always had business keyboards, I thought.
Yeah.
You know what, Jeremy? You said that these Z690 boards were, in line with previous pricing. But I don't know. I think I see the high end at Micro Center crossing the block
No.
at $600 to $800. The highest.
They're the
$550.
same price as equivalent products.
Well, if you think about
That was the official word. Is that they're the same price as equivalent products that also run
Split
DDR5.
prices seem
'cause-
higher.
okay, Brett,
Oh, they are.
try to understand. This
All right,
Alder Lake
educate me.
is not consumer desktop.
Oh,
It's really HEDT. So if you think of
Well,
it in
that
terms
changes
of
the game.
if you think of it in terms of this is the X699 board, but it's called Z690. Now it makes sense.
so
Like,
yeah.
oh, well, yeah, I would expect to pay 300 plus for
or
anything.
470.
Well, right, 300 would be like the
$599.
cheap stuff that you don't want to use, but it's available, and then
It might
'cause
it might not have quad channel.
yeah, it might not have enough VRMs to run anything but like stock speeds. But then you've got like
Right.
$400 motherboard option, which is better. 500 is getting there. 600, you've got like a good one, like an Asus ROG. So that's kind of the way.
But
it
if you want
was.
a
It is an
Meg-
ROG.
Yeah, but if you're going to go
Looking
for
right
like
at
a
it.
Meg, then you're paying that.
Oh, the Godlike. At least the Godlike is a
Yeah.
bundle. You get more stuff. For your,
Well,
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
the ROG Maximus with DDR5 is $600 out of Micro Center, which means other places it's 100 plus more.
yeah, I saw some decent deals. It was funny when who was it? the guy in our Discord who used to go by Toxinate now goes by RTX 3090 plus 12900K equals.
I don't know what he goes by now.
He got a
Changed
690.
his name again, I think.
Yeah, he
He
got a
does.
690, and he got a. Well, it took him forever to get a board, and the one he wanted ended up being significantly more expensive than the model above it. So we got the model above it. He went from I think the Hero to whatever the ROG, whatever's higher than the ROG Hero, and the Apex. For some reason at the time was like $200 less than the Hero. So he's got a very high end board. I think it was only around $600 though, maybe $700. $700 for the Apex.
Yeah, that seems high end. Yeah.
And because the Heroes were originally selling for 600, I think. And anyway, I think
My tastes tend to run more towards the Strix line. That's pretty much.
the Strix is usually
Right.
all you need.
Yeah.
The hero, like the ROG proper boards give you extras, like there'll be an M.2 multi card, and there'll be a dim M.2 like riser card, and dim.2 I think is what they call it. And there's all extra stuff in the box to make it all
Yeah.
premium, like a godlike board. But if you look at the VRMs and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's like 24 plus 1 or whatever it was for the Apex 22. I don't know how many power stages you really need for.
I'm just not tuning that extreme.
Well, it depends on what processor you're running too. If you're going with them crazy i9s, you might want the extra power stages so they don't. You got a few that can burn out and still continue to run.
But I mean, I've looked at specs before, trying to do motherboard reviews, which I'm terrible at. But I would like look at the specs, like, okay, the actual components that are on this board, each of these power stages can do like momentary power of like 70 amps, continuous of like 40 or 50, and there's like 8 of them doubled with these other doubler ICs to like 16 effective VRM channels for just CPU power.
Right.
And it just seems insane. Like how many amps of current do you need to run a processor that maxes out at 241 watts?
And boards with that stage, with those numbers of stages, usually have them fairly well cooled as well, so they're likely to continue to perform under load.
Speaking of,
Well, they get pissy when they jump back and forth between power draws at a ridiculously quick rate. And
What do you?
I had posted a picture on the Patreon about the stuff MSI sent. And MSI, we're going to be partnering with us for the Alder Lake launch. And then I never heard from them again after all sorts of shipping problems and delays from Intel on actually getting our samples, which came, I think, 2 days after launch. They sent us a Strix board and the two, like the i9 and the i5 processor that everybody else got. But MSI was going to send a board, a processor, and RAM originally, which was going to save me because I wasn't getting the stuff from Intel on time. And it didn't happen. And then it was like, well, we're not sure about the RAM. And then I never heard back. And of course, I didn't get any RAM because it doesn't exist. And I got the CPUs from Intel. They ended up sending this Tomahawk board. And I will say, for a board that's not at the top of their lineup, this box is heavy. That's the thing about the Z690s. It doesn't matter what board you get. They need to have robust heat sinks for the VRM.
Let's see the new Tomahawk Z690. I think you sent me one MSI Tomahawk board. I actually like it. It looks like it's a good board.
Yeah, doesn't really look like anything special so
it
far. It's
doesn't look superly fat.
but it's heavy. They're using a thick PCB. I don't know if you can even tell.
Oh.
Let me switch to my.
Well, I
camera
mean,
here.
since GPUs nowadays weigh about 15 pounds, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, really.
This is actually a pretty thick PCB
Yeah.
here by modern standards. And then the heat sinks, they're not insane, but
They're dense, though.
yeah, they're pretty
Oh, it's all
dense.
passive, I assume, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy backplate.
No backplate. But, big avoid collision notices. This is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Avoid collision. But yes, I do use standoffs on my motherboard. Thank
Well,
you.
but
It's,
it is
It's
the fact
funny
that it is sticky
colliding
for some reason.
slowly with the standoff. I mean,
because that isn't that side down where you can't read the avoid collision stickers or the avoid collision silk screen.
It's a pretty thick heatsink, and the back. This board is heavy. I mean, you just have to hold it yourself. But I don't have my scale handy.
well, it also doesn't look like there's any flex on it when you're handling it. Which
No,
is,
without a backplate even. That's the way it should be. Now they claim all sorts of things about this board here. Now this is DDR5 only, of course. It says it has a server grade PCB. So that must be where it comes from. Robust power design.
I'm glad to see 2.5
Lightning Gen 5.
Yeah, everything has 2.5 now. It's finding stuff with 10 that's harder, but you wouldn't have it at this price point anyway. But I should
No,
price out the
but
Tomahawk
just-
because I'm very impressed by this is a basic black motherboard without a back plate. It doesn't have, I mean, it has your basic like shielding for like your M.2 slots and stuff, but at least they're independent. Like this is a separate piece. This is a separate piece. You don't have to take off the whole thing like some boards. Just it looks understated. Doesn't appear to be
Those,
covered in RGBs.
three M.2 slots there underneath those aluminum.
I would
panels?
assume at least 3. 690 is like
Yeah,
seems to be
they're
between 3 to
numbered.
5.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Apparently, there's 2 side
Oh,
by side.
four!
right here.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, let me
Oh,
get
there's,
off.
Yeah, the
there's
long-
a pair that are like back to back in there, right?
Yeah.
I should consult the manual.
It's out of date already.
One. Yeah, of course.
Ah. Why don't you just load the CD-ROM?
It probably has one in there somewhere. I'm looking at the media sample performance qualification that MSI always ships with
Oh.
everything. They qualified this with an
Laminated.
i7-12700 using Kingston DDR5 4800 and RTX 3080.
Memory not included.
It was approved.
I see a lot of people pooping on the 2.5G, but it's still 2+ times faster than your standard
2.5.
networking, and
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
And the
where's your
second
10?
it gets out of your house, it's the same frickin' speed
Hey,
anyway.
Where's your
Well,
10
exactly.
gigabit switch? And if you
There's
have
your
one, then
problem
you are
right there,
the
Sebastian.
elite of the elite.
2.5G switches have finally become relatively affordable. We've talked about
Yeah.
it a couple times on the show.
You'll know-
and not
I just-
stupidly loud.
I just got one.
When
I have
routers
10G
have
switches and-
2.5G by default for their,
Yeah.
like little built-in 4-port switch, then you'll know that we've arrived. We've finally gotten to the point where average, ordinary, like people will have access to the faster wired standard.
As long as they're inside
But-
their own house and they don't mind the noise.
There's going to be a period of time here where 2.5G is the next level up. That's going to be included with a
10,
lot
10
of.
sounded cool. It was, and
Yeah.
it made sense because we went from 10 base T to 100 and then 1000. But it's just not.
Oh, remember that brief time where they used to ship, there were a couple of high-end boards with fiber optic built in?
I don't remember. seeing
And they
those.
would be, this was at a price when, this was at a time when a motherboard would be $200 to $300 and these were $600 or $700.
Yeah.
And so people
Oh.
were all in love with this because, like, oh yeah, like okay, well, have you talked to a contractor to light up your house? What do you mean? Well, if you've got fiber, but if you've got copper in your walls, it's not going to help you much. Oh, fiber can't be that expensive to run.
Yeah, right. It's expensive to terminate is the terminate well. And,
Oh, that's fair. Terminate well and
Terminate
get
well,
it
yeah.
properly.
Unlike the crap coming into my house, which is terminated mechanically,
Yeah.
not even like fused. It's just they push one against the other and they call it good in a little plastic adapter.
the
Well, they've got a
comments
little
on
machine that says "good enough, go away."
Yeah.
It has a little indicator on the side. It's fine.
Comments on the YouTube channel are talking realistically about the availability of switching at 2.5G, which is relatively affordable. It's in the low $100
Yes,
range.
Al's right
Yes,
because you can get it without the fan now,
yes, it
or at
runs
least a
hot.
reasonable fan.
The
Hot, but
NICs
not
run hot
too
too. If you have a little
They do.
Oh yeah,
10 gigabit add-in card, those are thick and they sometimes have fans or they need fans.
they need fans, and your
I
router's
have a
got
couple
one,
of-
and it's just all fun.
I have a couple of 10G NICs and they're 4X minimum, I think. They run freaking hot, really, really hot. And a couple of 10G switches that I have, I have a fan sitting on one of them actually over here. Did not come with a fan. I added it because I don't know how it continued to work at those temperatures.
It's like video capture cards.
Hot
Some of them don't have
packets.
fans, and they all need them. Just there are certain things
Yep.
that
Yeah.
I
get
mean,
very
I have this
hot.
fan sitting on it.
Mhm.
I have a 10G network switch right over here, and I've got this fan blowing down to the top of it.
Yeah, and like Al says in the chat, a Realtek 2.5G card is like $30.
Yeah, it's a great price.
Yes.
And I remember when I was talking to the guys from Killer at CES before they were acquired by Intel.
Yes.
And there was like, there is really the difference to a motherboard manufacturer to go from gigabit to 2.5G was very, like the dollar investment was extremely low. They were talking like a couple bucks, I think.
Yeah, it was well under $5, if I recall
And-
correctly.
So it was just this easy thing. It's like it'll help make your product stand out. And they were on the side of advertising.
And
their
it didn't
Killer
require additional cooling.
NIC. Right, which was just a
But
Realtek
we've got
product
this
with
additional
their
software you can install, which will prioritize your
Right.
packets in a way that is unique to Killer Networks.
So they wanted their
Yeah,
branding
okay,
on
there
it.
was
Like
that.
MSI was one of their partners that had boards with the Killer networking built in, and it's just that was the early days of 2.5. And obviously, how many years have passed? That was like 2016. So
There was a comment in the Discord regarding cabling, and we didn't really address this. And there's a bandwidth issue with a lot of premise wiring today that makes 5G or above somewhat difficult to attain, just because the frequencies that need
I
to be
told
used
you to
across
put
the cabling-
5E in, but you didn't put
Well, I
5E in. No,
for
no,
very
we're gonna
short
save money.
runs, for very short runs, you can actually run, or relatively short runs, you can actually try and run 10G over it. You can.
You can.
You're not always likely to be successful. But 5G, you're probably going to be able to succeed. 2.5G, you're probably not going to run into a problem with 5G or Cat5e style cable. It's probably going to work just fine.
I have this.
Well, that's why you run everything Cat 6, including, we've got a couple of landlines. Yeah, we'll run Cat 6. Well, they don't need it
Yeah,
yet.
then-
It's still cheaper to just run that, and if we got to rewire it, then it's done. Go away.
Yeah. But there was a period of time when Cat5e, and a lot of buildings, of course, were built this way with a lot of premise wiring all on the walls that are all Cat5e. And it's a very expensive proposition to try and rewire those. So 2.5G is a
Yeah, it's not like
legitimate-
house wiring where
And-
if you use thick copper and it's well insulated, it'll last until you move. Like, you'll never replace it. It's
Let me introduce
a
you to
little more complicated.
plenum.
Yeah, we
This
have
is-
to
And
pull it again.
the rating of plenum that has changed over the years.
And there's so many reasons why wireless is just the standard for almost everybody now. And obviously there are purists who go wired everywhere and they can actually get into their walls and they care enough.
That's because 10 people a day phone me saying that they're getting lag on their video calls for some reason.
Yeah, wireless is not
Yeah,
ideal,
well,
in.
but when you have
Plug it in.
multi-stream, very wide wireless, it is amazing how fast that
It
stuff
is. But it depends on how many other people
you're
you have in your
alone.
house sometimes. How many MIMO antennas you have, how many MIMOs
Right,
your-
yeah, and that's
your
the
other
crappy
handhelds
thing
have.
is that there are routers out there.
It's a meeting room with 12 people all running wireless. I don't care how good the MIMO is.
Okay, I'm talking about at home.
It's-
But
Yeah,
obviously,
well,
in an office, you need
do that,
a wired connection. You need to plug in.
No, you're not supposed to do that. Cheaper to run wireless, and no one ever complains about it.
No, sure, yeah. Well, everybody's on laptops.
You realize
so
we got to
they
run
wanna
wires
play.
to the access points, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything
what?
in the
It says
ceiling.
wireless on it.
My wife works at a
It
hospital.
says wireless on it.
Everybody is on these HP laptops. They don't use desktops, and they have a docking station at their desks to use the laptop.
All fun and games till the fire doors close.
Yeah, it's like
Ah.
they're try the weekends where she has to bring the laptop home. It's like if they did something and she has a new install or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, this isn't a trusted network here yet, but you have to log in to trust the network, but that means wired, and then I'm running like a long cable for her to sit on the couch and use the laptop. and be plugged into the router to go wired because it doesn't trust the wireless network at home, and just that kind of stuff is endlessly amusing. Okay. You know, it is 11:41 on the East Coast. Hopefully a tree does not fall into my house or car tonight because I'm under yet another high wind advisory tonight.
That would be
Yeah,
unusual if
it's,
nothing.
it's making it up that way, isn't it?
It was the other
Nothing has
day. Like I
fallen
was
on
watching
you.
the trees bend. Like, don't break, please, not this time.
No, there's another one that would look like it would maybe nip Michigan.
Yeah.
It's on its way to Ontario.
Yeah, northern parts of Michigan were already under an advisory, and then I saw earlier that my county was too. So hopefully that's
Well.
BS and nothing falls down.
I think we all hope nothing happens to you, since you
Yeah.
seem to be susceptible.
Yeah, it's just not been my year, I guess.
No.
It's just like every day. Like the other day, I went to close the garage door, and the opener quit.
What?
Like, okay, well, all right, let's deal with that later. So I disconnected the opener and closed the door manually and locked it. And then I went to, so I'm going back through the house to go out the front door instead of out the garage. And I turn on the light at the front, and the light bulb burns out like instantly. It was on for like a second. It
life-
burned out. Like, what the hell is
life-
going on in my
Life
house?
hates you right now.
Yeah, or I have questionable electricity in my house. So one or the
It
other.
Ever since they
mean-
rewired it.
I still don't know what is connected to any of these circuits. So I'll blow something, which never used to happen, and I'll come down here and I'm just like shining my light around, like, this one, that one.
Just
Okay, I don't know what that one
randomly
is.
flipping?
It's the one on the left, 4 down. Okay, that's the thing that apparently is in the
Sebastian,
living room.
is it always the same breaker that you're flipping, no matter what
No, that's the thing.
goes? Because that might be a bad sign.
Yes, no, it is a bad sign because there is the circuit that I'm on right now is a 20 amp circuit that I originally put in myself to be a dedicated circuit just for the PC per stuff. So and that was always good to run like 2 full on like massive builds. Never, because PCs don't actually draw that many amps. You can drive 2 PCs with multiple video cards. When I was doing folding at home early last year, I had 3 PCs folding 24 hours a day, each with multiple. Well, one of them had 1 GPU, the others had 2 or 2 each, I think. 24 hours a day, all off the same 20 amp circuit. Never tripped the breaker once. And now, whatever is happening, it's okay. Turn on a vacuum cleaner, and this system is still running down here. Breaker trips immediately. So I was like, okay, well apparently that outlet on the living room wall is now on the same circuit as the basement.
No. So you've got a couple of double taps going on in questionable places.
Oh, for
do
sure.
you?
The only one I know for sure that is clean is the one that I ran to my living room where the TV and home theater system is. And that one is a run that's like 3 feet long because the breaker box is directly below the TV. So I just ran like a cat. Not a cat. I ran a 12.2 Romex up to a box that I put in. And it's like a 3-foot run of copper. And that's the only thing on the circuit, and it's a 20 amp circuit. So, no, not 240. It's just one. I don't have aluminum wiring. It's all copper. Well, the house is from 1929, and it has very old, very strong wood construction. And wiring anything in the walls is a nightmare because it's lath and plaster.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those fire breaks that run horizontally periodically between the studs. So,
Did you ever discover any of the wiring that had the old wax paper on it?
yeah. Well, no,
Yeah, I
no
lived in a
cloth. I
house
found
that did
cloth insulated wiring.
Okay, cloth. Yeah, insulated cloth. No, we actually had some of the old waxed and oiled paper that we found out about because the rats were starting to eat it. Actually,
Oh,
they were
man.
voles. Yeah, because I mean, it hit the point where it
didn't you
seemed
have
to have
cats?
been a bit tasty. Yes, that's how we knew they were voles for sure. It's just that
Oh.
the rats could get in, or the voles could get into smaller places, and they breed. Oh my God, voles breed. I think they also are monogamistic. which makes it even worse somehow.
Wow.
But yeah, so we had to redo a
must
lot
be
of the wiring
Catholic.
in that place.
Just keep on reproducing.
Catholic
Yep.
holes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ground is good being at Liberty. Ground is needed. I didn't have proper grounding in this house before I paid to have the box replaced because they had to go out and actually drive the copper spikes into the ground. It was just one of those things where it was connected to the water pipe, which is not code anymore.
And then you had your water pipes fixed, and boy, did they fix them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they did. Just the one, though. Just the one that's right in my way.
It's still sticking out in the middle of the room.
Yeah, I could move the camera. You can see it right here.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right, well, time to.
Does it
sign
look
off.
like this that I just put in the chat?
What? What'd you do?
Public. I found this and I just love this picture so much.
That's got some heat on it right there, I think.
It's a bit spicy.
Is that red hot?
Yeah.
I already shut
Well, I
off
mean,
my
look at the
laptop,
wire
so
going
I can't
onto
show
it.
live here, but anyway. Okay, it's time to go to bed. It's almost midnight.
Indeed. Hey,
me-
everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks. We're gonna take the stream down now.
Yeah, thanks.
Good night.
See you. Good night.
So hold on, let me end the stream. End.